Many believe the Israel versus Palestine conflict has been going on for centuries. This is in fact not the truth. The Israel versus Palestine conflict has been going on very recently and is a very up-to-date and new topic. Christians, Muslims, and Jews all lived in harmony under the Ottoman Empire for centuries, until around the 1900s when the Zionism movement started. Many Jewish people under the Ottoman Empire rule began to adopt the beliefs of Zionism. Zionism beliefs state that Judaism isn't just a religion, it is also a nationality. This caused many Jewish people to immigrate to Palestine, where they felt safe from oppression and prosecution. The global-scale conflict of World War I caused the Ottoman Empire to collapse. After the collapse of the Ottoman Empire in World War I, Britain ended up taking control of the British Mandate of Palestine. They allowed many Jewish people to immigrate. The more Jewish people that immigrated to Palestine, the more the violence and unrest between the Jewish and Arab people rose. This caused Britain to limit the amount of Jews immigrating into Palestine by the 1930s. Then, in 1941, came the Holocaust. This caused many Jewish people from Europe to immigrate to Palestine. It also caused much of the world to back a new Jewish state in Palestine. As violence between the Arab people and the Jewish people grew, the UN decided to make a proposal in 1947. Their proposal was to split Palestine into two states, an Arab state, Palestine, and a Jewish state, Israel. In 1948, the Arab-Israeli War began. Israel ended up winning the war, and it caused many Arabs in Palestine to have to immigrate away from their homes. In the process of the war, Israel ended up taking the majority of Palestine's territory. They left Palestine with only a small portion of the West Bank and Gaza. In 1967, the Six-Day War began. In the process, Israel ended up taking the Golan Heights from Syria, the West Bank in Jordan, and Sinai in Gaza, which Egypt controlled. In the 1960s, the Palestinian Liberation Organization formed. They began attacking Israel to try to get them to flee Palestine by using acts of terrorism. The PLO had been committing acts of terrorism up until the 1980s. Then something changed. Israelis began moving into Palestinian territories. These Jewish settlements forced many Palestinians out of their homes. In 1993, both leaders from Israel and Palestine decided to sign the Oslo Accords. These Oslo Accords gave Palestine more self-rule, and it gave Israel more security. The Oslo Accords proved to be very unpopular with both sides of the conflict, especially in Israel. The Israeli Prime Minister was shot dead in Tel Aviv due to him signing this agreement. In the year 2000, an uprising called the Second Intifada began. This was a very large conflict, and it caused many Israeli and Palestinian deaths. In 2005, Israel gave up control of Gaza. Then the Hamas group took over Gaza. They separated themselves from the Palestinian Authority and began controlling Gaza under terrorism and violence. Israel ends up putting Gaza inside of a blockade as a result of this. This causes jobs and resources to become very scarce in Gaza, causing poverty among its people. This is where the conflict currently stands today. The lack of trust, reoccurring acts of terrorism, and human rights abuses on both sides contribute to the deep-seated mistrust and animosity between the two sides. Looking ahead, the future of the conflict remains uncertain. The path to peace requires sustained international engagement, a commitment to dialogue, and a courageous leadership on both sides. It is essential to address the root cause of the conflict ensure security for all parties involved, and strive for a just and lasting resolution that respects the rights and aspirations of both Israelis and Palestinians.